Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be recapping and reviewing The Perfect Match Season 2, Episode 2. If you missed Episode 1, I will have it linked down below in the comment section and description box. And I will put everybody's faces up here with their current match so you can see like how the couples switch around as the time goes on. So just so you can put a face to a name and match up each couple. We start the episode off with Tolu and Dom's date. It was cute. The vibes were immaculate. She looked absolutely gorgeous. But as we know, she doesn't technically have to match up with him after this date. So I do think he's like waiting to see is he interested in anybody else in the house first before they make a confirmed match. But we switch to the guys in the house having a conversation. Obviously, Izzy is nervous. He doesn't want to go home. But Brighton's having a full-fledged meltdown, in my opinion. Like, have you ever met those people who try to act like super cool and chill, but as soon as like they get nervous or something, they get like super animated and loud? That is Brighton right now. Like the first episode, even though he was obnoxious and always arguing with her, with everybody else he was pretty chill and pretty quiet. But this episode, he is just, ever since that date with Dominique got announced, he has been so loud. He's just been overcompensating, doing too much. This is the literal definition of doing way too much. And while I would love for him to be the one to go home, that is not to say that Dominique will not stay with him because she just loves the toxicity, and her date could choose somebody else's girl and another guy in the house could be going home. I just hope it's Brighton because I'm just tired of seeing him on the screen. I'm tired of seeing him on the screen at this point. Dominique and Chris's date was just okay. Like, it wasn't a lot of chemistry there, but maybe it just wasn't toxic enough for Dominique to be excited by. But I mean, it's better for her to match up with Chris with no chemistry than to stay with Brighton. Anything is better than Brighton. So if she needs to match up with Chris for now, just stay in the house just to see like if she'll have another match later down the line, and just to ensure that Brighton gets out of this house, match up with Chris. Please match up with Chris. The new guys are introduced to the house, and I honestly thought there was going to be more drama between Dom and Harry, but they had already talked through their issues in the past, and they're apparently really good friends, so the producers were like, yeah, no drama for y'all. Not this time. Kind of disappointed. I would rather some other drama than just Brighton, because Brighton's not drama. He's just annoying. But yeah, so Chris stuck very close to Dominique, which is a good sign because we want her matched up with somebody new. And Dom mostly talked to the guys, so the new guys didn't really come in trying to get to know the girls. The girls weren't really trying to get to know the new guys. It was a little weird to me that they wouldn't at least try to get to know them just to see. But I mean, I guess they said there'll be more days for that later on. But the new guys also, they didn't have a guaranteed spot there. Like I said, either one of them could have chosen to stay with their original partner. So I don't know why the new guys weren't bothered with trying to get to know the other girls. But either way, the other girls weren't trying to bother getting to know them either. Izzy saw this as an opportunity, though, to go talk to Micah, because remember, Micah is his number one choice. And I mean, he's setting the scene. You know, we need to. So it's. Let me backtrack. It's him, Micah, and Cass all at the same table. And Izzy's trying to set this up. He's like, you know, we all need to explore all our options here. We need to be having more conversations. And he's like, yeah, Micah, can I go talk to you in the side? And she's like, no. But actually, Cass, the secondhand embarrassment went through the roof. It went to the moon. Okay, it went to the moon. How are you going to curve that boy for the second time like that right in his face? So Micah and Kaz go off to have their little conversation and they leave poor Izzy there and they decide to match up for the night. He said things with Xanthi kind of were just started off going well and they just flattened on out. So they decide to match up together. I personally don't see a lot of chemistry there between Micah and Kaz. Like in my personal opinion, I don't see it. I don't see it. I feel like she's very attracted to him, but I don't feel like he's that attracted to her. Just in my opinion. So Micah goes to talk to Xanthi and Kaz goes to talk to Steven. And so Steven and Kaz decide to, switch girls. And Micah and Xanthi decide to switch guys. Now, they both made these plans separately, and so they're all coming together to discuss. So Micah goes to talk to Steven, and she's like, hey, we discussed it, and we want to do a swap. And Steven's like, oh, we decided that too. Like, Steven's like, so excited. He doesn't even want her to finish the sentence. He's ready. He's like, where's Xanthi? Where's my woman? Let's go. He's like, Micah, you don't even need to finish the sentence. All you had to say was, she's down. I'm out. He was too excited. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my prediction right now that Xanthi and Steven are going to be the perfect match. And if not the perfect match, they're going to be top 3. Because they look really good together. I can see a lot of chemistry being there. I know she didn't want to go for her normal bad boy type. I think he looks like a bad boy. I don't think he's that much of a bad boy because he's just not giving. He hasn't done anything really to look bad boyish to me. So I think that's going to be a good match right there. I'm going to go ahead and put my prediction in right now. It might change later on. Like I said, they might end up being like top 3. But I can definitely see them being there at the finale. So next we have Tolu and Dom match up. I do feel really bad for Izzy. Like, he has just not had like the best of luck in this house. But I mean, it's for the best. I'm sad he's going home, but it's for the best. Tolu and Dom make the better match, and Izzy is obsessed with Micah. Okay, so who's to say down the line if him and Tolu did stay together and the guys had the power, who's to say Micah wouldn't run to him to save herself and he would go ahead and save her and drop Tolu? So while I feel bad for him, it was the best decision, girl. I mean, you're here to find your perfect match, and even if they did make it to the end by some just like Hail Mary, it still would not have worked out, because could you imagine watching this back and seeing your man over here obsessing over somebody else? Every single chance he had, he was over here obsessing over her. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I would have dropped him. I don't care if we made it to the end. We're chilling at home watching this back. I would have dropped him because that would have been embarrassing. Elise and Harry got into a small argument because she finally expressed to him personally how she wants to take things slow with him because of everything she has heard about him outside of the house and from his exes. And I understand why this is frustrating for him, but at the same time, he has to be understanding of this. Like, I know he's saying, like, don't judge me by my past, but your past is also not that long ago. Like, they literally brought an article up that just came out of you, like, in your ex breaking up. Like, your past is right there. It's not even really a past at this point because it's right there. So anybody would be cautious. And I don't understand how you brag about all this stuff in the beginning. Like, oh, I have all these exes. Oh, his girl cheated on him with me. And then you're like, oh, wait, but don't judge me by my past. I know I did all those things. I know I seem very proud of all this stuff that I've done, but actually don't judge me by that. Like, anybody would be cautious. Anybody would be cautious. And y'all have only known each other for 3 days. I think it's like 3 or 4 days at this point. Anybody's going to be cautious with your past. Like, you can be frustrated, but you have to understand. I don't understand why you don't understand, but they still end up matching for the night. This seems like something he's just going to have to work out personally because this is only, your problem. You caused this problem. This is the reputation you put out of yourself multiple times. Maybe if it had been one relationship, maybe we could say that, but this was like multiple relationships. So be understanding and let her take it slow. She didn't say she didn't want to be with you. She just said she wants to take it slow. So just let it be. I'm afraid there's really no hope for Dominique because how do you go to therapy? Okay, how do you have a therapist? First off, where is that therapist? Like, somebody check on the therapist because their limits are being tested at this point. They're probably like, I need to go back to school because I've ran out of techniques for this girl. But how are you able to identify something as toxic and exhausting and you're just still there like, I love it? I will never understand it. Like, this man really sat up here and said, we like to argue. Why aren't we arguing right now? I want to argue. Sir, what? It's like, how are you supposed to respond to that? Like, okay, what do you want to argue about? Let's pick a topic and let's argue. Like, let's debate. Like, what are you supposed to say to that? What are you actually supposed to say to that? So they sat up there just giggling about nothing. I'm trying to figure out what she's giggling about because I didn't see anything funny. But they sat up there giggling for the longest time, not talking about a thing. And so Chris comes up there and he's like, I'm just gonna put her on the spot. He's like, so who do you want? Who do you want to match with? And I didn't think it was in an aggressive way. I didn't think anything was wrong with it the way he did it. I know it caught her off guard, but I mean, the night was getting long. They kept sitting there giggling about nothing. Like, let's get to it. Let's not hold it out. So who do you want to choose? But of course, Brighton being Brighton, he didn't like that because he's very intimidated by this guy. He keeps calling him Prince Charming. He's very intimidated by this guy. So he gets up. He's like, you're not going to come being disrespectful to us. He really meant don't be disrespectful to me because he knew he was about to get booted. And so they keep going back and forth, but Brighton is really the one being like the most aggressive. Like, Chris is like, it's just not like that. Like, just let her choose. And so I'm happy it happened though because it made her realize like Brighton's way too much. So she sends him home and she matches with Chris, but she's still like, this is way too much masculine energy because she does go both ways. We never got a clear explanation on her sexuality. She just said she likes the varieties, but clearly she doesn't like too much masculinity because she said the energy was too much and she would rather be there with a girl. So I do predict in the next episode or so she might go home. She might send herself home because the energy may be too much. Which I don't understand how she said that was too much like masculine energy, yet you've been arguing with this man for the past 3 days straight. But this was too much energy. I don't understand her. I truly don't understand her. I thought you liked arguing. Am I confused? Are you confused? Like, what's the problem? Like, that should have been an exciting moment for you by your terms. I'm so confused. But because she said it's too much masculine energy and she would rather be there with a girl, I do predict she's probably gonna send herself home in the next episode or two, or she's gonna have to find somebody else. I don't know. She confused me a lot this episode. After this situation, she confused me a lot with what she was saying because like, Chris isn't even toxic. You came from a toxic situation, but now you're trying to paint him as out to be toxic, and he's not. Make it make sense. The second compatibility challenge was a kissing challenge. So everybody was blindfolded with noise canceling headphones. And you had to rate everybody from 1 to 10. And it was basically like, could you find your partner? Like, would you rate your partner the highest? So at the end, they would reveal like, who was your highest score? Who was your lowest score? And what did you rate your partner? And if you rated your partner high and your partner rated you high and y'all had the highest combined score of each other, then you would win the challenge. So Micah and Kaz won the challenge with with a perfect score of 10-10. So they won. Xanthi avoided all kisses, so of course her and Steven got the lowest score out of everybody. But then for Dominique and Chris, Chris rated Dominique low, and he made some statement. I think it was something like kissing can be learned or something, or he made some comment about the kiss, but it wasn't like a super bad comment or anything. But she took it so personally. She was like, well, if that makes you feel better. And she brought up the fight from the night before. And I'm just so genuinely confused because you said you like banter. This is banter. All he said was that kissing can be learned. I mean, because you can be a good kisser to one person because you see the scores varied. Micah got 2 low scores and then she got 2 10s. So you just may not have chemistry with that person. He was just saying you can learn it. Like, that is actual banter. You said you like banter. That is banter. So I am so genuinely confused by her because, like, you, like, full on arguing and somebody talking to you condescendingly. And then somebody over here just having a little bit of banter, just trying to make jokes about the situation so you don't feel bad about it. And you're like, this toxic person. Can you really identify toxicity? Like, do you need help identifying it? Because what's the problem? What's the actual problem here? Why do you have so many issues with this guy but not Brighton? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'm starting not to like her because where's your therapist? Let me call her personally to get her on the phone because what is the problem here? The episode ended with Kaz and Micah on their 101 salsa date, where they discuss their boardroom decision coming up and possibly breaking up Elise and Harry because they are considered a top couple. But we will have to wait till the next episode to see how that goes. So not a lot happened in this episode. Of course, I'm happy Brighton went home. Thank God we got rid of him early. I'm not really sure what's going on with Dominique. She very much confused me this episode, but I do see her possibly leaving in episode 3 or 4. And I'm interested to see how everything goes with Elise and Harry, especially if he said he's changed. Like, if they brought in single men this time, I'm sure this time it's going to be single women. So it'll be interesting to see, like, has Harry actually changed or is he still an F-boy? And we're just going to have to see. But I will be posting the review and recap for Perfect Match Season 2 Episode 3 tomorrow. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you will know when I post that new video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And when you comment, please make sure to keep the comments tailored to this specific episode. So you can talk about a previous episode if it's related to your topic of this episode. But if it's just like a complete comment about episode 1, please go to episode 1. I'll have it linked in the description box and the comment section below. Keep that comment there. If it's a future episode comment, please wait until I post that video. But like I said, if it's a previous comment and it's connected to episode 1 and 2, then you can leave it here. I don't care. But please make sure to come back for episode 3 tomorrow, and I will see you in the next one.